Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 6:30 p.m. Do you know where the Citadel is? And this is a special edition of WPRB News Presents the Week in Review. Ian Auzenne here, Reed Langan on vacation for the next couple of weeks. And again, tonight, it is a special edition. We're going to save the news about the economy and everything else that's going on. We're going to save that for next week. We'll get to that, and it probably, if anything happens, you'll know about it soon enough. But we're going to scrap the normal format today because, again, for those of you that listened to Time Out earlier, we discussed a little bit about this. And if you've been paying attention to anything Princeton-related the last weekend, you've probably heard the stories about the incident between the Citadel cadets and the Princeton Band. And I'm not going to give too much of an intro. What happened, happened. We don't know the Citadel has not come out and said anything. We don't know their full side of the story. What we know is what we have in front of us, and what we know is what the Princeton Band has told us. And tonight we are fortunate enough to have the president of the Princeton University Band, Alex Barnard, visit us. Alex, it's a pleasure having you on the air.
Thanks for having me.
Don't mention it. And again, there are a lot of people, especially on campus, who've heard a little bit about what has happened, but usually the story gets skewered here and there. There's been a lot of hearsay about what goes on. There were stories about one of the band members getting choked. There were stories about instruments getting broken. There were stories that the Princeton Band climbed on top a Citadel statue, which is what provoked the cadets. And these stories apparently aren't true from what I found out today. So the floor is yours right now. Go ahead and tell us the Princeton University Band side of what happened in Charleston, South Carolina this weekend.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. There definitely have been some pretty crazy rumors flying around. Some people are now saying that we burned a Confederate flag on the Citadel's campus, and frankly, I think if we had done that, I wouldn't be alive right now.
Yeah, if you'd have done that, I think you'd either have been in jail, lynched, or otherwise not with us right now.
Right. So, I want to believe we're that crazy, but I'm sorry that nothing quite that exciting happened. So the story really begins in about March of this year when I found out that the Princeton Band was going to be going to, or the Princeton football team was going to be going to Citadel, and I wanted the band to accompany the team. I contacted the people at the Citadel just because, our band is obviously very non-traditional, and I wanted to make sure that it would be okay to bring our sort of satirical, lighthearted version of marching band to a very conservative Southern institution. And I was repeatedly assured that they were really excited to have us, that they were planning on extending some Southern hospitality to us, and that, they wanted us there and they wanted to see a different kind of band. And, every assurance I had was that there was not going to be a problem. So a couple weeks ago, I contacted them again, and I cleared that we would be allowed to march through their campus, which is something we do at every away game, just sort of to drum up spirit, get enthusiasm for the game going, and, show people who we are. And then I sent them our halftime script, which they cut some lines from, and, we worked with them to make sure that the halftime show that we had prepared was going to be considered appropriate from them. So from my end, when we left campus on Thursday, it was a 12-hour bus ride. When we left campus, we thought that we were just going to sort of enjoy our time in Charleston and show people who we are and leave, and it was going to be no big deal. That was what we had been assured over and over again by the Citadel, that we had nothing to worry about. Their only request of us was, don't play Dixie. And, as tempting as it was, we wanted to so badly, but we did not play Dixie, as per their request. That was their one request, and we didn't do it.
Could have played the theme from the Dukes of Hazzard, but that's a whole other story.
That might have gone over pretty well, yeah.
But you mentioned that the Citadel had cleared it, you'd send it. And this is standard protocol for the band. Whenever they perform at any other university, you have to get your script and set list cleared with university officials, right?
Well, actually, it wasn't standard protocol in the sense that our scripts are censored by our university, but we almost never allow other universities to look at our scripts. And so this was a special thing we did out of deference to the Citadel, and it's not our usual practice.
So you guys come up with your own script. If Princeton University finds something offensive, they will tell you, don't do this. But for the most part, it's you guys self-censoring yourselves.
Yeah, pretty much. We know what's going to fly and what's not going to fly, and our goal is to be entertaining. It's not to offend people.
Right. Now, let's go past the 12-hour bus ride. You guys travel from here to the Citadel, and on Friday, I'm assuming, is relatively uneventful.
I spent the day at the beach. It was pretty nice.
Nice. So we move on to Saturday morning. and the band gets to campus. Let's pick up from there.
Right. So, well, we had pre-approved us marching through campus, so that's what we did. We walked through the front gates of the Citadel. Citadel's an open campus. They do have a guarded gate, but the guards didn't say anything. They didn't say, "Hey, stay away from this place." There were no signs saying, "Go here, but don't go there." So,
right.
we were marching around the center of campus. There's a big field in the center, and it seemed like pretty much all the cadets were out on some sort of field day, some sort of forced recreation.
Right.
And we were marching along, and all of a sudden the road in front of us is blocked by about, who knows, a couple dozen of cadets of linked arms sort of formed a phalanx blocking us.
Wow.
And our attitude is almost always, if there's a tense situation, we're going to try and diffuse it, but with humor. And so what we did was we called a scramble, which is when the band members break the lines we're, marching in and then run around crazily for a couple of seconds, just to be funny. And then we get back into line. And so we did that. We started running outside of our lines. We weren't running towards them. We were just sort of running in circles, basically.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the Citadel guys just rushed us. And, I wish I could say that I knew why, but I don't. And it was at that time that a couple of guys grabbed my roommate and threw him into a tree. Cadet pushed one of our people down from behind.
If you don't mind my asking, when you say threw him into a tree, as in...
Pushed him into a tree.
Okay, pushed him into a tree. I wasn't sure if they went and saw something you see in professional wrestling and pretty much made him a human missile into the tree.
No, my roommate used to be a football player. They would have had a rough time doing that.
Okay.
But so, generally they were getting physical. They were stealing our hats, which, we have to buy the hats ourselves. They cost $95. They're not something we like having stolen from us. And just sort of generally, messing with us, getting physical. I was grabbed by a couple of people. And, as president of the band, my immediate response was, "This is not good. We're getting out of here." And so I just started shouting, like, "Everyone back in line, we're leaving." And, I thought we were just gonna leave, but all of a sudden a Marine major walked up to me and said, "I want you guys to keep marching through campus." And, my immediate response was pretty incredulous. I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, if you guys are here to march through campus, you're going to march through campus."
This is Marine Major, Citadel official.
Citadel official.
And they are giving you the equivalent to a military escort through campus to ensure your guys' safety.
That's right. And so there's been all this talk about how we were supposedly walking on some hallowed avenue of remembrance. And I have a couple things to say to that. And, first of all, obviously, I'm sorry if we did walk on a place where cadets aren't supposed to walk or people aren't supposed to walk. But first thing is that no one told us, and if they had, we wouldn't have done it.
Right.
When I asked about marching through campus, they didn't say anything was off limits. There were no signs. And frankly, none of the cadets thought to say, "Hey, maybe you guys should leave," before they attacked us. Second thing I have to say to that is, if this area is so sacred, I'm a little curious as to why cadets thought it was appropriate to attack people on it. It doesn't seem like that's a very reverent thing to do.
Right.
And then finally, with all due respect to this location, this major told us to continue walking on the same path we were going through. So he obviously did not indicate that there was any problem with where we were.
Right.
And so, we continued our march, and we finished our march through campus. It took about 30 minutes. And the rest was pretty much without incident. We were constantly being followed by cadets they spit on some of our drummers, and they were flipping us off and making some homophobic and derogatory remarks. But, once the officers had sort of pulled the cadets off of us and we had this sort of military escort, they weren't going to mess with us any more than just verbally.
Right.